Let's get talking. Here we go. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Carl E. Long. I'm your boy, Carl E. Long, and welcome to my podcast. Season 2, Episode 2. Welcome to the podcast, guys. How y'all doing today? I hope everything is going well. I hope you have made it through the ice storm and snowstorms that have covered America. Ours was last week. Now it's up on north and I'm seeing lots of snow, but I love it, the winter time, but the snow can be tedious ice. So I hope you're making it through and enjoying this great time of winter here in the States. Yes, welcome. So guys, I'm so glad to be here for this episode 2. It looks like I'm going to be doing more of a monthly podcast than a weekly like I tried to. I told you that I've gotten back into the workforce, so it's getting increasingly hard to do a weekly, but I will never give up because this was the journey that I decided I was going to do, and I'm going to keep doing it. So today's episode is exclusively dedicated to my girl, Jasmine Crockett. Yes, the Senate candidate for Texas, current Congresswoman from District 30 here in Texas, where I live in Texas. I'm in District 33 now. She used to be my state representative when she was in District 100. I think it was 100. Maybe it's 300, 100. I can't remember the number. So then she went on to win Congress. And then, I moving over a few blocks and put you in another district. So I was in her district for a little while, but now I'm in Julie Johnson's district, which is fine. But Jasmine's still my person because I have a property that is in her district, which is just a few streets over in another neighborhood or whatever. But I am so proud of her. Now, let me just tell you about Texas politics and having African-American representation. Before Jasmine, we had Congresswoman Bernice Johnson for many years, and that was about all we had that represented our area was Congresswoman Bernice Johnson, and we just rest in peace. We miss her so much. She did a lot of great things here in Texas, but she was always kind of quiet, though. It wasn't quite the storm we heard from Washington. Didn't hear a lot of stories coming from Bernice. We heard more about her after death than we did while she was living, but she was a great congresswoman. But she handpicked Jasmine, and we thank you so much, Congresswoman, for sending us Jasmine Crockett, because she has been a firestorm. I first saw her on the ballot when she was running for Congress, and when I was in the district of hers, and she was in a heated runoff, and I didn't know who she was. I'm not even sure if I voted for her because her name wasn't familiar to me. But she ended up winning, and boy, are we happy that she did. We are happy that she did. I am so excited that she is running for Senate here in the state of Texas. I am very excited. And as much as people don't think that she has a chance in hell to win, I do. I honestly think her strategy is going to work. So we're talking about a political moment that has Republicans nervous. They're nervous. Democrats are divided, and Texas politics are fully on notice. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, civil rights attorney, freshman lawmaker turned national voice, has announced she is running for the United States Senate. And ever since that announcement, the right-wing trolls have come out immediately. Yes. The conservative media machine went into overdrive. I mean, here's the way the conservatives work. When you are a truth teller, they are going to hound and follow you everywhere that you go. That's why they hate the show The View. They're truth tellers. They hate it. When you speak out for what is right and they don't like it, they are going to troll you, and all their minions are going to be around. So the conservative media machine went into overdrive, and even some Democrats started asking, is this too much? Too soon? Too bold? So today we're going to break this down. Who is Jasmine Crockett? Really? Who is she? Why does her Senate run matter? It does. And why is the right so obsessed with her? And why are some of her own colleagues skeptical? Skeptical. I can't say it. Skeptical. Skeptical. So let's talk about it. So who is Jasmine Crockett? Yeah, Jasmine Crockett. Well, she didn't come into politics through privilege or party favor. She's been through the courtroom. Before Congress, if you don't know already, she worked as a public defender. Yes, a civil rights attorney in Texas, representing people who were often ignored, over policed, or pushed aside. Yeah. She later served in the Texas House, where she fought voter suppression laws, spoke out against extreme gerrymandering, and became known for being sharp, prepared, and unapologetic. When she arrived in Congress, guys, she took them by storm. Kind of like when Kamala Harris came there, I kept going, who is that lady? She's awesome. She came in like that. She didn't try to blend in. No, she didn't whisper. She didn't wait her turn. She spoke clearly, directly, and she spoke fearlessly. And we immediately took notice that, like, who is this lady? Already knew. Us Texans, we already knew who she was. You know, we got a little taste of what she was and what she could do when she was in the Texas State House. And that's important because that style is exactly what makes people uncomfortable. Now, here's the deal. This is something that white Americans always and black Americans have always do. We have something that we have to like flex. Or we have to, what is the word? I can't think of the word, guys. When we have to go into mode, all of us do it. We all have to do it. I mean, because when we're together, we talk the way we talk to each other. We talk the way we talk. We have a lot of different kind of languages. We have our ebonics. We're with our homeboys. But when we go into the public world, we have been trained to, we got to flex. We got to change to the narrative. Yeah, I can talk very white when I need to talk white. Or, I can be with my homies and I can talk how I need to talk. Or my boys, I can talk how I need to talk. It's all the way that we do. Code switching, that's the word. We code switch. But Jasmine, she spoke clearly, directly, and often fearlessly. And that's what's important because that sounds exactly what makes people uncomfortable with her. The way she speaks. And even the big message that they have right now is that she is a fraud. That she really is this Ivy League little girl that went to private school and just faking it. That's all they got. That's all they got on Jasmine. So the Senate announcement, when Jasmine announced her run for U.S. Senate, it wasn't quiet, it wasn't cautious, and it definitely wasn't accidental. No, it wasn't. It was something bigger. The announcement signaled something, a belief that Texas is not as red as people pretend. A belief that Democrats don't win by shrinking themselves, and a belief that turnout, not persuasion, is the future. Let me just say a little bit about Texas politics and why we are the only red state like we are. If you think about it, Texas has 6 major cities in Texas that are probably in the top 25 of the entire deal, and we're a red state. It doesn't make any sense. Most of the states that have these large cities, the metro areas are what drives and pushes out that electorate, I should say. But Texas isn't, because we have a voter problem. We have a voter problem. That's what our problem is. So her campaign message, Jasmine's campaign message is clear. She's not chasing approval from conservatives. She's not. She don't need that. She's focused on energizing voters who usually sit out elections. Young voters, black voters, Latino voters, working class voters. And that strategy, that scares people. That's why the right is so nervous. Let's just be honest. I love that Jasmine says that. Let's be honest. Let's be perfectly clear. That's one of her favorite things to say. The right is not just criticizing Jasmine Crockett. They are obsessed with her. They mock her voice. They attack her tone. They question her intelligence, and they label her angry, radical, or too much. Black women, speak to me. How many times y'all been told that? Right. Or too much. And none of that is accidental. This is a familiar playbook, especially when a black woman is confident, articulate, and unafraid. Instead of debating her policies, they attack her personality. Go after her policies. She speaks truth. She gets the law behind her. She tells you facts. She gives you statistics. She gives you what can be done, what the law says you can be done. It's all truth. So fight that. Then we have a winning battle. Now, when high-profile conservatives and media figures focus this intensely on one candidate, that's not strength, it's fear. They're afraid of her because they understand something. Jasmine Crockett doesn't just challenge Republicans. She challenges the entire political comfort zone. Yeah. So she has something, a lot of trolls that come after her. A lot of trolls that come after Jasmine. So I want you to listen to her own words about what people come after her from the MAGA trolls, and listen to this video I got from the archives on her, and she'll tell you in her own words how they attack her, But let's listen to this.
Hey y'all, so I just wanted to jump on really quickly. First of all, to say thank you. My staff is really excited that we are over 1 million. So for everyone that was trying to figure out if this is my actual account, it is. Me and TikTok, we was beefing, so I wasn't posting anything, but I have 2 official accounts. I have this one, and then I have the one where we will do everything that involves my videos from the house and that kind of stuff. But I wanted to jump on really quickly and say, number 1, happy Sunday. And number 2, before I caught my flight, one of my friends sent me a message. Now, I've decided to turn off all my notifications on all social media because clearly some people are just getting a little too rowdy. And honestly, I don't have time for that, right? Like, we are losing this country at this moment. So I don't really have time for all the BS that people decide that they want to post when they literally are not relevant. If you, for whatever reason, can't really see what's happening, then that's kind of a you problem and not a me problem. So I'm not really trying to hear from you. Anyway, so one of my best friends sends me this thing, and it's from Dr. Stacy Patton. And I must say, I'm kind of in love with her at this moment because I had no idea of some of the drama because, MAGA always mad. They stay mad. That's just what they do, at least when it comes to me. So I guess they've really been digging for dirt, and I don't even know what dirt looks like. I guess it's the opposite of what we would think dirt is, right? Because it seems like if you, say, cheat on your wife while she's pregnant with a porn star, that's not dirt. It seems like if you are found liable for sexual abuse, that's not dirt. It seems like if you're indicted in 4 different jurisdictions and you ultimately are found guilty of 34 felonies, that's not quite dirt either. It seems like if you file bankruptcy 6 times, that's not dirt. It seems like if you what else? Yeah. If your companies get in trouble because there's a badass AG by the name of Tish James that comes for you in your companies because of fraud, that's not dirt. But it seems like now what is dirt and what is a conversation, as people don't know whether or not the government is going to stay open, as people are losing their jobs, whether they're government jobs or private jobs, as people don't know whether or not they're going to be able to afford food, as people don't know whether or not they're going to have assistance to get food. It seems like the most important thing that people can figure out to talk about is what? Oh, let me help y'all. The most important thing that they can talk about is my quote unquote accent. My accent. Yeah, I don't have an accent. I mean, if anything, it's Texan, right? Maybe mixed with a little bit of St. Louis. And then determining that my accent is fake because of the types of schools that I went to. Like, seriously, y'all, like, honestly, I guess that's what's most frustrating is that there's nothing to find. Because if there was, I'm sure they would have already laid it out for sure. But if the worst that you got to say is that, yes, I went to private school, I'm just saying, it's a bad day for you. Cause, just yesterday I was just this big DEI hire, and now they're like, well, wait a minute, she's too qualified, right? Like she went off to these fancy schools, and then she gets out and she talks this way. I talk whatever way I want to, because yes, I do have the education, and I've got the heart. I've got the heart to fight for the people. That's why I ran for office. So the only thing that you're laying out is that, no, I didn't have to run for office, just like a lot of other people didn't have to run for office. You've got people that run for office for various reasons. Some people are selfish and nothing but slime balls, and that is why we have a lot of things that are broken. That is why right now we're sitting around and it's a little broken, because we got slime balls that decided that they wanted to run for office, or we got a bunch of spineless people that are sitting in office. And I am still the bleeding heart liberal. Yes, I said it, the bleeding heart liberal that actually cares and believes in this country and believes that we all deserve the opportunity to live in what supposedly is the land of the free and the land of opportunity. When I get jaded, that's when I'll quit. When I'm kind of just over it, that's when I'll quit. Until then, just stay mad, because clearly y'all ain't found a bootleg husband. Y'all ain't found a bunch of baby daddies. Y'all ain't found any types of crimes, because Lord knows y'all would love to throw me in jail really just for existing. Not that that's what we're supposed to do, but whatever. So I just wanted to come on and shout out Dr. Stacy, because I had no idea that they had now gotten mad because the worst thing that they found is that I went to private school. And I don't really understand what the problem is. Anyway, everybody have a great Sunday.
I just love her. So you see what I'm saying there? That's the most that they can find. Because when you tell the truth, they cannot go toward her record. They won't go toward facts. They just personally go after her. And I'm talking to not just Republicans. I'm talking about everybody that's out here bashing Jasmine, the way she speaks. We all got a cold switch. It comes to the time now where you accept me for what I am and how I talk. As long as I can do the work and do damn good at it, I don't care what you think, how I speak. I don't have to code switch. This is me. This is who I am. This is who I am. So there's the trolls and the double standards. So here's the part people don't always say out loud. When male politicians are aggressive, they're called strong, right? Yes. When women, especially black women, especially black women are aggressive, they're called unfit. When men interrupt, it's leadership, right? When she pushes back, it's attitude, right? That double standard fuels a lot of online trolling. And you see, and yet every viral clip, every attempt to ridicule her only increases her visibility. The same people trying to silence her, the same people that's trying to silence her are accidentally amplifying her. So y'all keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. Yeah. And then there's democratic skepticism. Let's talk about the other side of the conversation, because skepticism doesn't only come from Republicans. Some Democrats are uneasy too, which this floors me too. Not because she's unqualified, not because she lacks intelligence, because she doesn't fit the traditional cautious Democratic model. There are concerns about electability. I'm sick of tired of Democrats moving to the center, changing their whole perspective just so they can appease. We don't care. Find the voters who identify with your message. There are tons of them. You just got to get them motivated to get out there and vote. I'm tired of babysitting independents. Where are you going to vote this time? This side? I'm tired of it. If you want to come into the fold, come into the fold. But all of that trying to stay centered so you don't offend them. No. Be who you are. If you're progressive, be progressive. You know the policies that you want to make happen. Make them happen. That's what I love about Jasmine Crockett. Unapologetically, she is awesome. Now there's concerns about her tone, concerns about, this is the Democrats thing, concerns about whether her style plays statewide. And those are fair questions, I guess, if you want to. But because Texas is a strange state. In Texas, you have to follow the money, baby. It's all about the money. We have a lot of rural people. We have a lot of embedded things in our state, but we're not a terrible state. There's some great people here, but Texas is so segregated, you know, that we don't come together enough. We have so much that are alike that it's caused our state to be this way. It's a wonderful place to live. I was born and bred here in Dallas, Texas. I've lived in Texas all my life. I moved away for a little bit. I actually lived in St. Louis for a little while, where Jasmine's from. And you can tell the difference. But we're a great state. But there's just been a lot of corrupt things that have been going on here for a long time. And it's time that we clear this up, clean the water, and let's get Texas back to what it needs to be so that we can grow together as people, you know. But here's the counter question, though. How long has the safe approach worked in Texas? Because Texas Democrats have played it safe for decades and still haven't flipped a Senate seat. So it's not working. It didn't work for you, Colin. It didn't work. So the real debate isn't whether Jasmine Crockett is risky. The debate is whether continuing the same strategy is safer. What do you think? Do you think that same thing, trying to go progressive versus moderate, you know, again, this race also exposes a larger Democratic tension. Do we energize the base or do we chase the middle? I hate the middle. I want you to pick a side. To me, that's like Jesus saying it's lukewarm. Pick a side. Pick a side. Because Crockett is clearly betting on energy. She believes turnout beats triangulation. She believes authenticity beats over polishing, and she believes voters respond to candidates who sound like real people, not consultants. I believe that too. Some Democrats worry that her approach is too loud. You know, others believe it's exactly what's been missing. That disagreement isn't a weakness. It's a reflection of a party trying to evolve. Now, y'all know how mad we've been because the Democrats have just not been fighting. They didn't fight Elon Musk. They were just sitting back there going, well, we'll let the courts and today we'll sit here. No, we need fighters. Texas is a tough state for Democrats statewide. It just is. It just is. But the demographics are shifting. Urban turnout matters more than ever, and enthusiasm gaps decides elections. Jasmine Crockett's campaign is betting on expansion, not persuasion. She's not trying to win over MAGA voters. She's trying to activate voters who usually don't believe anyone speaks for them. And whether she wins or not, Crockett's strategy is an advantage. Okay, so let's look at the numbers. Let me just show you the numbers and why Texas is so crazy. All right, so let me just show you this. Texas consistently ranks among the lowest states in the country for voter turnout. In the 2024 presidential election, Texas saw a turnout of approximately 56.6% of eligible voters, significantly trailing the national average of 64.1%. So we don't vote. While a record of 18.6 million Texans were registered to vote in 2024, only about 61% of those registered actually cast a ballot. A nearly 6 percentage point drop from the historic turnout of 2020. So that's that, right? So there you have that. Now, next fact. Historically, turnout in Texas varies dramatically across different age groups, racial and socioeconomic groups. The following data highlights the participation gap between Texas citizens and the national average. So by race and ethnicity, you can see that all the races are below the national average. The white non-Hispanics tend to be a little bit higher than all the other groups. So they get out and vote a little bit more than other demographic groups. And then by ages, the lowest participating groups are the 18 to 24 age. You know, we've always had to galvanize them, right? We always do. Everybody tries to taunt that vote. They try to attract as much young voters as they can. Ages 25 to 44, 52.7%. Ages 45 to 64, 62.9%. And ages 65 to 75, 67. That's the highest participating group. That's my group, my age group. We get out and we vote. Okay? So that's that statistic. And then by education, socioeconomic factors are among the strongest predictors of voter turnout in the state. Education, only 32.1% of Texans with a high school education or less voted, compared to 81.8% of those with an advanced degree. So some of you need to just get out the couch. Come on and vote. Income. Families earning under 25,000 turned out at a rate of 42.5%, while those earning over 75,000 saw 74.6%. People, all of us that are making no money, we're the main ones that should be voting. And you don't even come out. You got the rich folks. You got the middle class and upper rich people making the decisions because we don't come out and vote. This is the people that Jasmine is trying to tap into. You've got to register. You've got to vote. Maybe you don't understand all that stuff. Maybe you need to come to some classes, maybe something, but you need to get out there and research and find your interest. What is it that you need? I mean, if you're having childcare issues, find the candidate that has a heavy platform on that. If you don't understand somebody, get a buddy. Get a buddy who knows politics. I'll be a buddy. Watch my pod. I'll be a buddy. You can send me any question that you want. I'll research it. I'll tell you about it in layman's terms that you can understand. Okay? So we've got to be mobilized, guys. That's how she's going to win this race. And then fourth, why is Texas turnout so low? Experts point to several structural and cultural barriers that contribute to these rankings. So it's not only the turnout. Texas has some crazy laws. We have restrictive voter laws. Texas is frequently cited for having some of the most restrictive voting laws in the U.S., including a strict photo ID requirement and limited mail-in ballot eligibility. Now, I've never known any other way to vote in Texas. We've always had to show our license. So to me, that's a cop-out too. You can vote. You can vote in Texas. We all got license. Just show up. I don't care about that. I really don't care about having to show your license. It doesn't matter to me. Registration barriers. Texas does not offer online voter registration or same-day registration, which often discourages younger and more mobile populations. Why is Texas so afraid? It's not because they're afraid. It's because they want control. We have got to get out of this paper age of mailing in and getting a voter registration card. There are secure ways to do things online. There are secure ways to do it. I mean, you got two-factor IDs on phones. You got facial identity. You got all kinds of technology things that will make sure that it is you that is voting or registering to vote. There are ways. And then there's the non-voter factor. In the 2024 primaries alone, 14.6 million registered Texans did not participate. When combined with eligible but unregistered residents, roughly 5 out of every 6 eligible Texans stayed home. 5 out of 6. Yeah, those are facts. Now, these stats explain why candidates like Jasmine Crockett focus heavily on expansion, getting non-voters to the poll rather than persuasion, flipping existing voters. I'm tired of trying to flip a Trump voter. MAGA's MAGA. Ain't nothing we can do about it. They're hateful. They're mean. A lot of them are racist. Not all of them. I didn't say all MAGA was racist, so don't come at me. There's a lot of them that are racist. A lot of them grew up with these same ideals and haven't changed, and they're not going to change, and so you wasted time. If they decide on their own, then we welcome you to we welcome you. We welcome you. Yes, we do. So those are the stats. So we looked at the numbers. Texas consistently ranks at the bottom for voter turnout, especially among younger voters and the Hispanic population. We knew that in 2024, but only 56.6% of eligible Texans voted, far below the national average. And critically, our data shows a massive non-voter pool, with 4 out of every 10 eligible Texans not even casting the ballot in the last major election. This brings us directly to Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, whose core campaign strategy is to find you that don't vote. Because while many Democratic candidates in red or purple states try to move to the center to appeal to independents or even disaffected Republican voters, Crockett is doing something totally different. She don't care. She's not changing. She's not trying to become moderate and moving to the center, which, that to me, that one right there burns me all the time. I get so sick of independence. I do. Pick a side. All right.
She's not primarily focused on winning a Trump voter to switch. She's not trying to become a centrist overnight. Her campaign is making a clear strategic bet on expansion, not persuasion. Think about those numbers. Only 41% of eligible Hispanic voters turn out in Texas. This is the year Hispanics need to wake up. You see what's happening with us? Wake up. If you're still going Trump, I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm done at that point. All right. Just 32.1% of voters ages 18 to 24 participated. Keep that number. Keep that number. And let's see, only 32.1, let me see, wait a minute. Only 32.1% cast a ballot. These are not insignificant groups. These are millions of potential voters who, for various reasons, whether it's feeling unheard, facing registration barriers, or simply believing their vote won't change anything, have historically stayed home. So that's Crockett's campaign. And this is an untapped reservoir, and that's where she's been getting her numbers. And she's finding that she's real popular with those groups of people who normally stay at home, but they have been galvanized by her social media, by how she's handling Congress, how she fights. That's where she's trying to go. So instead of expending energy trying to flip the relatively smaller percentage of genuinely undecided voters or chasing the elusive moderate Republican, she's aiming to activate the massive non-voter pool. And her direct and very unapologetic rhetoric, which we discussed earlier, is designed to resonate with these disengaged communities. It's about building a multiracial, yes, working class coalition that feels genuinely represented and energized enough to show up to the polls. That's the fight. And that's how you can help. You, everybody listening, watching. You got to get people you got to get them to vote. All your little nieces and nephews, Bubba and all of them who are 18 and over, has never voted, know anything. They got to get to the polls. You got to get them registered. You got to get them to the polls. If they need a lesson on Jasmine Crockett, I'm going to put together a compilation of some of her stuff one day on one video that we can all share. And once I do that, I'm going to put it on my TikTok, Instagram, Facebook page, on my podcast page, wherever you can find me. You'll find this video and you can share that and use it as a tool to show these never voted voters who she is, and she's fighting for you. She has my interest, all of them, and I will forever fight for Jasmine to win. I'll use this platform as much as I can to get the word out there. Now, I already know that because this whole podcast is on Jasmine Crockett, they're going to troll me like crazy. They're going to drag me. I already know it because they do her. Some of the comments they have on her is so horrible, and I really pray for her all the time that she's safe and that she's got the bodyguards and people around her protecting her, because there's some crazies out there. Now, this strategy, it suggests a fundamental shift in how some Democrats believe they can win in Texas. It's a gamble. It's authentic. Progressive messaging can mobilize enough new voters to overcome the traditional Republican advantage rather than attempting to dilute her message for the middle. It's a high-stakes play, but given Texas' persistent low turnout and Democratic struggles with centrist strategies in the past, Crockett's campaign is making a bold statement. The path to victory might not be in changing minds, but in getting new ones to the ballot box. Her candidacy forces a conversation the party can no longer avoid. Okay. So now you got the picture. This is the strategy. So all of you naysayers and saying she needs to be running, no, she don't. She don't need to run center. None of that. I'm so glad she's not doing that. I am so glad. Why? That means she's gonna whitewash and damper down all the policies that she's passionate about. For what? For a few voters that may or may not vote for her. It's not worth it. It's not worth the energy. It's not worth it. So go toward the people that hear and resonate to your message. That is ingenious. Duh. Some people are afraid of this model, but in Texas it might work if we all do our part. All right. So now I want to talk about how Jasmine Crockett campaigned without talking about the target on her back. You can't talk about it. I mean, I told you, as I said, that I pray for her because I'm so afraid. Because some of those comments, guys, they're horrible. Some of them are really, really horrible. Yeah. So when you decide to run a campaign based on truth to power instead of playing it safe, the backlash doesn't just come from the other side. It comes from every direction. I mean, the direct attacks from the right we've seen, from high-profile figures on the right who lead the charge, like Vice President J.D. Vance. I mean, he recently mocked her at a Turning Point USA event, taking a personal swipe at her appearance and questioning the authenticity of what he called the street girl persona. Crockett didn't back down, firing back at Republicans like Vance, who she says he's focused more on her nails and lashes because they can't keep up with her on the floor when it comes to debating actual policy. Hear that again. They cannot keep up with Jasmine when it comes to debating actual policy. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to take the lead from their president. He's already called her a low IQ person. You don't even know her. But she's low IQ because of what? President Trump? Why? Why would you say that? But that's kind of the language they use all the time for black women, low IQ. What does that mean? Wow. So J.D. Vance focused on her nails and lashes because he can't keep up with her on the floor when it comes to debating actual policies like the costs of groceries and health care. Let's talk about that. I mean, the friendly fire and media sabotage, but the sabotage isn't just coming from MAGA. We've seen a strange wave of friendly fire from influential media voices who claim to be on the progressive side. Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang, and on their La Culturistas podcast, the duo told listeners not to waste your money by funding Crockett's campaign. Let me let you hear what Mr. Rogers said. Let me just let you hear what he said right here. Here we go. I mean, I don't want to hear this anymore. I'm going to play it one more time.
Anytime a politician is making it too obviously about themselves, I'm already done.
We're out.
Don't waste your money sending to Jasmine Crockett. Do not do it.
I must agree.
Don't do it. You're going to waste your money.
The gall. I mean, so basically what he was saying, I mean, the whole thing was longer than that. He was saying things like, Beto O'Rourke didn't win. So what makes her think she's going to win? What does that mean? Was he saying to us, a white man didn't win? So what makes you think a black woman would? Is that what you were saying, Matt? But anyway, he got so much. I mean, it was viral pushback that he came out with this little sad apology, which I'll show it to you right here.
Anytime a...
Let me just give you the apology. The apology was, hey, everybody, I hear the response and I'm taking every bit of it to heart. I promise. This is Matt, okay? Transparency and candor matter to me, especially on the podcast. I'm a very progressive person who cares deeply about winning these elections, but my phrasing was not right. I will be more thoughtful. I really do promise. I have great respect and admiration for Representative Crockett, and I regret my words suggested otherwise. I just want us to win, and I will be better at finding ways to help. That was lame, Matt. You messed up. You messed up big time because people are not going to take you seriously anymore. They're not going to laugh at you anymore because you should have kept your mouth shut. And Bowen Yang, you sitting there going, I agree. Y'all have been canceled, baby, and I'm sorry. It's going to last for a while. Think about what you say. Think about what you say. So, there you go. So, yeah, that was them on their La Culturistas podcast. The duo told listeners not to waste your money by funding her campaign. Why would you tell anybody that? You don't even know anything about Texas politics. You haven't even listened to her. Texas politics, claiming she was too well-defined, which means that they well-defined. What does that mean? What does that mean? And that Texas needed someone more moderate to win. I'm so sick of people saying that. Texas doesn't have to have anything moderate. If the message is right and the person is on the right side of the world, of the law, for people, anybody can win. I still believe we have some great people in Texas, but they have not been getting the messages like they should be. Texas politics is dirty. It can be very dirty. Okay, so while they later expressed regret for their phrasing after a massive public outcry, the message was clear. There are those within the liberal establishment who would rather see a safe candidate than a bold one. Not me. Then we have Stephen A. Smith. Even in the sports and culture, Stephen A. Smith has faced backlash for questioning her approach and tone, suggesting she needs to talk a certain way to work effectively. So listen to dear Stephen. He had to walk some stuff back. Here we go.
Jasmine Crockett or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect intelligent women, no doubt. But how a Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district, Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituents. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas. Well, those performance in the House, according to research. What I was saying was this educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fine when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you're at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you? You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera. Why would they do that? Because they know it wins for them.
Y'all, Stephen A. Smith, shut up. You know what? He's never been the top of my book because I'm a avid or a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, and he has made his career on hating the Cowboys, which that's fine. He does that. That's his stick, whatever you call it, and that's what he does. And so, but I'm not fond of him. Never have been, But there was a time when he was talking on The View, and I got kind of interested in some of the things he said. But I can see right now, he's trying to walk that fine line. No, we don't have to do anything with Trump. And you keep saying that that's all she does is fight Trump. She doesn't care about that. All Jasmine does is when Donald Trump tells you a lie, she gives you the truth. That's not true. We could care less about what he does with certain things and what he's buying planes. We can't do anything about that. Donald Trump is making billions of dollars off of the American people, and we can't stop him. But when he says a lie directly that affects the American people, you can rest assured that Jasmine's going to call it out. Y'all can call that Trump trolling or whatever. Nobody cares about that. But she's not going to sit back and let this man tell you something that is not true without letting you know the real truth and what's going on and how we can fix this thing. That's what she does. Y'all call that Trump trolling? I mean, somebody has asked her that several times. That's not what her campaign's about. You know nothing about her. She handles her district. She has town halls all the time. We know more about her than you guys. All these little viral moments that y'all have seen, and that's who she is. No, she's way more than that. Way more than that.
Yeah. So let's listen to his walk back or whatever. I don't know. It's not really a walk back. It's still him trying to justify what he said the first time. But let's take a listen just because I want you to see how stupid Stephen A. Smith sounds.
Jasmine Crockett, do y'all know that she sponsored 37 pieces of legislation? That includes bills, resolutions, amendments, etc. Stuff like Free Speech Act of 2025, Swift Vote Act, Clear ID Act, Abortion Care Awareness, Higher Credit Act. According to Congress.gov, Jasmine Crockett has co-sponsored 831 pieces of legislation, bills, resolutions, amendments. 10 have become law. Congratulations. That's what I'm talking about. Don't we need to hear more about that? As opposed to saying the president's a piece of shit? Don't we need to hear about what you're doing? I didn't say you did do anything. I said, don't we need to hear about it?
I can't even listen to that. Okay, the video was bad anyway because, I don't know. It just was. I can't even listen to that because, he goes and researches her after he says all this stuff, not knowing anything about her. And what kills me is in the comments, I get people that say, what has she done? Name me 6 people. I say, no, you name them. If you want to know what she's done, it is available to you. Congress.gov. You can go and find anything that she's done. You can find it in the state house. Whatever. You can find out what she does. You can find out all the trials that she's won. You can find out it's available. It's available. So all of you guys are in social media going, what do you know about it? You don't know nothing. And I'm sick and tired of y'all dragging Jasmine Crockett because it needs to stop. She is a self-appointed person who is working to get people, specifically people that have been disenfranchised, their just due in this country like everybody else. And for that, she's getting trolled and dragged and by her own people, Stephen A. Smith, and there's some others. I've seen some TikToks of some black men and some black women that have been saying, you know what, and all y'all need to shut up too. Because you probably haven't done any research. And here's what I want to say to all of the black men and the black women who took the time to make a TikTok just to say how they don't think she's ever going to win and she's da-da-da, she's too this and whatever. Where's that video that you did about Trump and everything that he's done? Where's that video about Elon Musk or J.D. Vance? Where's that video? Where's that video about all the stuff that's been going on with the Epstein? Where is that video with the Epstein files? I didn't see any of that. A corruption, but you're going to take the time to bash your own sister. Yes, I said sister. And say that she's not going to, because of the way she talks. Or that you don't like her because of this and that. But you took the time to make a video, edit it and everything. You put that one out. So that's all I have to say to you. Okay? So when I see those videos where they're talking about how they think she's not going to, and all this stuff, and it's coming from our own people, and I'm talking about African American people, people of color, I'm talking about you too, I just pass right by because I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So this is what I'm saying about the trolling that's been going on. So even the sports, Stephen A. Smith has faced backlash for questioning her approach and tone, suggesting she needs to talk a certain way and work effectively in Washington. A critique many have pointed out he doesn't apply to male politicians who speak far more aggressively. Now, the personal cost, trolling and threats, and then there's even a dark side of modern politics, the part that doesn't make the debate stage. Because she refuses to soften herself, Jasmine Crockett has become a primary target for online vitriol and death threats. She has been labeled angry and unfit and simply for just refusing to be silenced. But she often points out this kind of trolling is a distraction tactic when they can't beat her on facts like working for her Voting Rights Act or takeaways. They go away. They come after her personally. Now, for Crockett, these attacks aren't a sign of weakness. They are proof of her impact. In her words, if you aren't making the establishment nervous, you aren't doing it right. Okay. Now, I want to talk about her opponent, James Tallarico, who she's going to be running against in the Democratic primary here in Texas. Now, I'm excited that we're having a healthy Democratic primary. I wish these two had not been running against each other because I do like them both. I really do. James, you should have been on the governor's ticket, and Jasmine, you should have been on the Senate ticket like it is, and we could have really done it. People like James Tallarico, and I do too. But James Tallarico, honest campaign, yes. I mean, for months, the narrative around his state representative, James Tallarico, has been about a new kind of politics, a former teacher, and he is a Presbyterian seminarian. He's leaned heavy into his faith and a message of economic populism, promising to run an honest, positive campaign without typical mudslinging. In fact, he and Jasmine Crockett shared a relatively polite stage at their first debate just a week ago. It was good too. Aligning on several key policies. I like the debate. I've never seen a debate so calm, though. It was very calm. And they agreed on a lot of things together. There was no mudslinging whatsoever. But as the March 3rd primary draws closer and polls show the two in a dead heat, the nice guy image is facing its first major test. I don't know if you've heard about it, but the allegation that shook the race trouble started with a viral TikTok from a Dallas area content creator known as Morgan. I've seen her stuff and her posts. She scares me sometimes because I don't know if she's on which side, and I don't know who she is. I gotta look more into her. But she alleged that doing a one-on-one conversation at a campaign event in Plano, Tallarico told her he had originally signed up to run against a mediocre black man, referring to former Congressman Colin Allwood. Y'all know he lost the race pretty badly. And not a formidable, intelligent black woman like Jasmine Crockett. So the implication that Tallarico viewed Allred as an easier target or somehow less worthy of a seat. Colin Allred broke his silence. Wow, wow, wow. You have to listen to this. Okay, here we go. Listen to Colin. He's mad. Here we go.
James Tallarico told me that he signed up to run against a mediocre black man, not a formidable and intelligent black woman.
Morning, everybody. It's cold out here, and I got some steam coming off my head because I'm, just finished my workout. Got some steam coming out of my ears, too. I understand that James Tallarico had the temerity and the audacity to say to a black woman that he had signed up to run against a mediocre black man, meaning me, not a formidable, intelligent black woman, meaning Jasmine Crockett. Let me just break this down into a few segments here. First of all, let me just give you some free advice, James. If you want to compliment black women, just do it. Just do it. Don't do it while also tearing down a black man, okay? We've seen that play before. We're sick and tired of it. We're tired of folks using praise for black women to mask criticism for black men. That's not good for our community. It's not good. It doesn't work, and we know what you're doing. Okay, so if next time you want to praise a black woman, just do that. Leave black men out of it. Just leave a lot of things out of it. Second of all, did you ever have a coach or somebody, a leader in your life tell you that when you make an accusation, you often have a bit of confession in it? Maybe you use the word mediocre because there was something creeping into your mind about yourself. Because I know you're not talking about somebody who's been better at 3 things than you've ever been at 1. You are not saving religion for the Democratic Party or the left. We already had Senator, Reverend, Dr. Raphael Warnock for that. We don't need you. You're not saying anything unique. You're just saying it looking like you do. Okay? And third of all, let me just say to all the young black men out there, all the young men who come from tough background, struggle growing up, who maybe think that someday you want to put yourself forward as a leader in your community. It's going to have haters like this are going to show up, okay? And you're going to feel like you have to be twice as good and jump twice as high and talk twice as well, but you don't have to. You can walk out there with your shoulders back and your head held up high, knowing who you are and the value that you bring, and understanding that this comes with the territory and that there's going to be folks like this. And when we see them, we should say thank you. Thank you for taking off the mask. Thank you for telling us who you really are and what you really think. And goodbye, okay? Because we're on our way, and we don't need you to come with us, and we don't need your help to get there. So with that being said, go vote for Jasmine Crockett. This man should not be our nominee for the United States Senate. I wasn't going to get involved in this race, but listen, don't come for me unless I send for you. Okay, James? And keep my name out of your mouth while you're at it.
Ooh, Colin was hot. He was hot. And you know, James is a very honorable Christian man, and I've been following him on his TikTok, and I loved everything that he's been doing. And I'm not counting him as being an evil person or anything like that, but I know that people around him are going to say, man, you got to fight this. This is how we do Texas politics. They're probably in his ear saying, you got to throw in one attack ad or you're going to lose this race. You know, because there's some people that vote that way. And Texas politics is very dirty. And James was on The View just the other day, and he was saying that Jasmine is his sister and that he's going to be behind her 100% if she wins. And I got a much more favorable view of him when he was on there, you know. And I want this to be a healthy race, you know. And it doesn't need to be that you guys, some of the comments that I'm seeing out there about she's no good, James is better, all that kind of stuff, you know, and y'all coming at her just with this craziness. And we're trying to take the top road. None of us are going anything but the high road. We're going to vote for Jasmine. James is a wonderful candidate as well. Nobody's backlashing at him. Nobody's saying anything at him. You know, the one thing that they can find on the two of them is this APAC thing about the money taken, that he's getting only grassroots money and she's taking money from the PAC groups. And I think she's explained that exclusively, how that worked, and that the money, that how she got that money or whatever it is. But anyway, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care if she got the money. But as long as she gets the money for her campaign, because black folk, we ain't got a lot of money. We ain't got a lot of friends with money either. So if that's what it needs to take to win this race, I don't care what she gets money from, you know. I really don't care. As long as she's not getting it from some mafia group or some illegal, some another, you know. But this is what the Supreme Court allowed for all these PACs to be there, so might as well use them. There's money out there. So there's some that are seedy or want to use you for, when you take the money, they expect you to lobby certain things. So Jasmine is too smart for that. She's a lawyer. She's not going to take any money from anybody that wants this in the future because they're giving you this money. She's not doing that. So I can be sure and rest assured that that's not even a story either. So Colin broke his silence, who had remained neutral since dropping out of the Senate race in December to run for a House seat, did not take the news quietly. As you saw the video, he says, if you want to come for a black woman, just do it. I get that. He's right. He didn't stop there. He officially endorsed Jasmine Crockett, stating that Tallarico should not be our nominee for the U.S. Senate. Now, the Tallarico defense quickly moved to contain the damage, calling the allegation a mischaracterization of a private conversation. He admitted to describing Allred's method of campaigning as mediocre, but insisted he would never attack him based on race, stating, we're all on the same team. However, many voters, the damage was done. The rumblings in the media are getting louder. Is Tallarico's honest campaign just a mask? Crockett herself called the timing unfortunate, but noting that this controversy erupted at the very start of the Black History Month. While Tallarico's campaign has so far dominated the airwaves with positive biographical ads, this moment marks a sharp shift in the race from a policy debate to a high-stakes battle over character and respect. So, there we have it on the Tallarico-Jasmine race. So I am so proud of Jasmine Crockett. I really, really am.
And I want to give you some more moments from her. Like, here's when she was talking to the Texas House about the recent gerrymandered district where they're getting rid of her district. Oh, back to Colin Allred. Colin Allred is running in my district now. He used to be a congressman in our district. He's running to take his seat back from Julie Johnson, who got it. So he's running back against her again to take his seat back. Wow. The politicians are a mess when he lost the Senate seat. So he's coming back to run back for his seat. Let's see how he does. Julie's been okay. I haven't heard a lot from her and things she's done. She's got some great platforms and whatever. But I did like Colin. I did like him when he was in there in the House. So let's see how he does. If he's going to win this primary, because he's got to fight for his seat back. We'll see how it goes. So let's listen to Jasmine when she's speaking to the Texas House on the gerrymandering issue and how she presents herself, which I think is magnificent. Here we go.
First of all, it is a sham that we sit here and y'all pretend as if you care about what the people have to say, but we are going to make y'all listen as long as you will. This map does nothing but divide, distract, and depress. There is this idea that was put out there during his opening remarks that this does so much for Black folk. Well, let me tell you, as a Black person, it does not. Let me tell you that in this map, to be clear, y'all added two additional Anglo majority seats. Now, when we went through the 21 maps, you added 2 Anglo majority seats, and now you're adding 2 more Anglo majority seats, and then you've decided that you are going to pack and crack, and that is the language that I am going to use because that is the legal language. And I also just want to remind y'all really quickly that it does not look good when you take every economic engine out of my district and then tell me that I am supposed to sit here and be so happy because you added Black folk from a whole other community. When you want to talk about monoliths and whether or not they exist, this idea that you just take people and move them around. I have 200,000 people who were never in my district, and my district is 766,000. Playing move minorities around so that you can somehow claim that this is nothing but partisanship. The only way that you get here is by making sure that you trample upon the rights and the liberties and the voices of minorities. So let me give you a few facts about the state of Texas. The state of Texas only has 39% Anglos, yet somehow under this map, we are going to have somewhere near 60 something, almost 70% of these seats are gonna be chosen by Anglos. If we were looking for fairness and to follow the Voting Rights Act, you'd have 15 Latino opportunity seats, 15 Anglo seats. You then have 4 African-American opportunity seats. Then you'd have 2 Asian opportunity seats, and the other 2 seats would belong to coalitions because we are a majority minority state where over 60% of this population is people of color. So if you want to do what's fair and right under the Voting Rights Act, as well as if you say that this Fifth Circuit Court case matters and somehow changes everything, my question to you is, when are y'all gonna do y'all's maps? Because you did your maps in 2021 and then the case came out and I haven't seen y'all talk about the fact that you're gonna redistrict the House and the Senate.
Thank you for testimony.
Y'all hear that? That's truth. She digs right through it. She's a lawyer. She digs right through the minutia, the crap. And y'all see how they just sat there and they look at her. They don't even rebut her. They don't even rebut her. They don't even come back. They just go next. No, they won't even say anything because they know she's telling the truth. They can't debate the truth. Do y'all get that? That's why they do not want her to have any kind of power, and they want to make her just disappear. Well, she's not going anywhere. Because if I have anything to do with it, I'm going to do everything I can with every person that I know to make sure that they are registered to vote and they are voting for Jasmine Crockett in the state of Texas. Yes, because we can do this. We can do this. We can do this. So, Jasmine Crockett's Senate run isn't just about one seat. It's about who gets to speak boldly, who gets to lead without apology, and whether American politics has room for voices that don't soften themselves to survive. The right, they're nervous, guys. The trolls, they're loud and they're scary, and the establishment is unsure. So don't let the social media noise scare you. Jasmine gets scared because people have been looking up her address, all kinds of things like that. Cover her with your prayers. Cover her so that nothing happens. I believe that God Almighty, all things work for the good of those who love Him, and I know that He will protect her. But we need to cover her. And as I said, the trolls are loud and the establishment is unsure, which usually means something real is happening. And you can believe I'll be watching this race closely right here on Let's Talk with Carl E. Long. So if you found this conversation valuable, make sure you follow, subscribe, share, and then just make sure we get the word out about Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate from Texas. This can be done. We can make it happen, but we all have to work for it, to get it. Now, when I go to put this podcast out and I put some social media clips, I'm going to get trolled like crazy. I already know it. So I'm not looking forward to some of the nastiness that I get from some of the people because they hate Jasmine that much. And me being a conduit for her, they're going to come after me. But I don't care. I can handle it. But sometimes they can get kind of scary, some of the stuff they say to you. It doesn't even make any sense. They won't talk facts. They just want to call you some crazy name or talk about the way you look or something like that. Or I've been called crotchety old man and all kinds of stuff. Some cartoon character. Just because. But, it's all good. Now, this message is directly for Congresswoman Crockett. If you're listening, if you happen to see this podcast or any clip from it or anything like that, I want you to know that we are so very proud of you. We are so proud of the leadership that you've given Texas and the United States of America. And I believe in you. Ever since the first time I ever heard who you were, when I was in your district, I'm still in your district. I don't care where you moved to. I'm in District 33, Julius District, since I moved to a new house. But still, I still have my townhouse that's in your 30. So I still consider myself a part of your district, no matter what. And I will do everything possible to help you get elected. And we pray that everything goes right. But the strategy that you're working on, it's spot on. I've been talking about this a lot on my podcast about how Texas is a non-voting state. There's no reason why we shouldn't be blue. There's no reason why. And when you talk about being blue and all that, I would like one day that the politics would get healthy again, where we wouldn't be so much in our tribal corners. Where if we got a red person or someone on the Republican side that had their own ideas and they were like ideas that, I totally agree with, but I can live with, I'm okay with that. But we got to get out of this Trump Republican era where the Republicans have no spine and Donald Trump is basically walking over all of y'all. If you want to know anything about Donald Trump, follow the money. Follow the money. I'll always say that. But thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. And thank you, Jasmine Crockett. And so I'm going to leave this right here with Jasmine Crockett for Senate. If you're not registered to vote, get registered. You got to vote in the primary. Okay? So y'all have a wonderful day. And until next time, this is Carl E. Long from Let's Talk with Carl E. Long. Bye now.